Have you ever seen something from the corner of your eye that wasn't there when you looked again? How about hearing from a friend of a friend that while they were hiking somewhere, they thought they saw something impossible, but when they spoke to a ranger, there was always a simple explanation that left you unsatisfied? My name is Jack, and this is my colleague Chris. We are senior wardens for the Creature Conservation Initiative. We protect the world from creatures of superstition and myth, but more importantly, protect those same creatures from the world. Well, hello there, everyone. How are you doing? And how are you doing, my friend Chris? What are you up to? What have you been up to? It's been 2 weeks since we recorded. How are you?
Yes, hello. I am also here. I am doing terribly. I am fighting the entire day with some home automation network nonsense, and it's driving me up the wall because Zigbee and Matter and everything attached to it should burn in hell for all eternity. And I will die on this hill, or I'll be assassinated by Big Zigbee or whatever. But enough about that. How are you? How are you, Jack?
I'm doing good, thank you very much. But now I'm slightly concerned that maybe, just maybe, I could be assassinated by my robot vacuum.
You very possibly
from that
could.
little spiel. And not just because I've walked down there a little bit tired in the middle of the night and tripped over.
One day it's just gonna vacuum your face.
It's gonna brush my face off.
Face. Oh.
Oh God, face off. All right then. Well, no, like, what have you been doing? Have you been doing anything particularly as your role as a warden of the CCI recently, or not much?
Not really, actually. I've been, the things I have been doing, I'm keeping for my own episodes. I don't want to shoot my load preemptively.
Excellent.
Here.
I can't wait to hear all about that then.
I'm going to tell you in the near future.
That made me sound very much like a radio DJ there. I heard that in my own voice.
Yes.
Welcome to blinkandyoullmythit Radio. The radio.
Welcome to blinkandyoullmythit Radio.
You blinked! No.
The station for all your mythology needs.
I've seen it all. No, well, let's just kind of jump into the episode a little bit then, rather than
I've seen everything.
Vamping for no reason.
It's true. I'm now in the podcasting age.
Oh, God. Right, anyway. So today we're going to talk about another one of the kind of England, UK, Great Britain kind of scary dog myth creatures that exist out there. So
is the pit bull?
No, not dangerous dogs, which pit bulls are not dangerous unless they're trained like that. But as in, like, if you remember, a while ago, I did an episode on the Black Shuck, the dog that was kind of down south in the UK. Well, in that episode, I told you that there's actually quite a few of these kind of mythical, beastly dog wolf kind of things. And there is another one that exists out there called the Barghest or the Barghest. Have you heard of it before, Chris?
I haven't really. Barghest sounds a little bit German, and I'm afraid it's gonna be an alcoholic dog. But
no, it's not.
Probably not
dog.
it.
No. Well, the name actually, they think kind of Geist, ghost, and then bar seems to be something in Old English. I can't remember. But it kind of connects quite well to...
You're so well prepared.
I know. Well, I wasn't going to talk about that part until you said something. But but as a creature, the name kind of like the name Ghost does attach well to it, because one of the features of this dog is being quite kind of fleeting, quite ethereal, very hard to see, very hard to catch.
That sounds like it's true for all dogs. They're quite hard to catch within reason.
Catch sight of, not like physically catch them.
I mean, even then.
It is a very large mythical black dog, but it's also been kind of described as being a goblin dog in a way. Very large goblin dog. Because it's got very large kind of like teeth, quite a flat-ish face to a certain degree.
Okay.
That's kind of what I've been able to find out. If you actually like properly research the term goblin dog, you get nothing. So I've been trying to work out a little bit more about what they mean by goblin dog. But if you look at pictures of it, if you look at like artist renditions, it tends to be that more kind of like fantasy, orcish, goblinish kind of flatter face on the face of a dog, but with obviously a bit of a snout. But main features of it: very, very large teeth, very large claws, and very kind of furry and like, you know, very furry and
again.
very furry and very fiery red eyes. So it kind of brings up that kind
furry
of hell
eyes.
dog. I don't mean furry and fiery eyes. I mean furry, fiery eyes. So the dog is furry and it has red fiery eyes. You have to enunciate
your commas better.
Well, screw you, the German speaker. You don't know English.
I hear that daily.
One of the things that kind of brings that Geist part into play, though, is that there is a lot of folklore. There's a lot of thought that the dog actually can turn invisible, or at least almost see through, almost kind of very, very hard to miss, can blend into backgrounds very easily. And it only ever appears at night. So you got a big black dog that seems to be able to turn a little bit invisible. Very hard to see apart from obviously these kind of like fiery eyes. The furriness means that it's not very sharp against its background. You know, it's all of these things going to pull together to make it very hard to see.
And usually you'd be able to catch the reflection of the moonlight in its eyes, but they're so furry.
Screw you. I knew it. I could hear it coming.
Well, just doing my job. Anyway, so can it actually turn invisible, or is that just a fairy tale?
It can actually go invisible. Or at least not so much invisible, but it kind of becomes very, very kind of translucent is the word I was looking for. I was going to say see-through, but that doesn't sound right. Translucent. Very easy to see through it. And it just kind of disappears into the background. It never goes away completely, because it's still a physical thing, but it does appear to have this kind of way to blend very, very carefully into the background and seem nearly completely gone in a way.
Interesting. Yeah. So can you see its inner parts then? Can you see what it's had for lunch?
No. The translucence appears to be full body, almost like it's kind of like. In a very, very nerdy way, it's almost like it's stepping between planes of existence, is how I would say, and how I would think about it. Yes, I'm a massive nerd.
That's so much more nerdy than my Metal Gear Solid reference I was going to make about stealth suits.
I don't know that you're about to make a Metal Gear Solid reference.
Let's move swiftly on from that.
Maybe. Well, there's one other thing, and I was going to say it way, way earlier, but we kind of got stuck on furry eyes and things. There is... you have to be careful with the name Barghest.
Why would you bring them up?
Because of what I need to say. I need to give context. You know this about me, Chris.
Yes. I still don't know why furry eyes are so important.
One thing you need to make sure that you're doing when you look for anything to do with this creature is there are actually a few creatures in the UK named Barghests. So this is the big scary dog, not the ghost, because some ghosts are called Bargheists.
Are they drunk ghosts?
Probably. They might be German too.
Makes sense.
But apparently there's also a Bargheist at some point used to refer to a household elf,
Why are you people like that?
I don't know.
I mean, it's bad enough with pudding, but why do you use other words for several things?
Because
it doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. Nobody understands you.
We're economical with our language, okay? Mr.
You're
Die
stupid
dee
with your
das there.
language.
You need 12 different words because they've got different genders.
Yes.
Oh,
And
God.
different grammatical cases.
Yeah,
Is it
well,
called cases?
I'm learning German. I'm not getting into this on the podcast. This is my escape. But
Es gibt kein Entkommen.
no. So I'm going to ask you to try and guess something to do with the Barghest here, because I think you'll probably be able to get this based on the description so far. As is most mythical creatures, it augurs some kind of thing. It's usually a portent of something. What do you think that might be, Chris?
Oh God. It warns you of a shortage of grain and the resultant lack of beer in your near future.
No.
That's why it's the Barghest.
No. It is a creature as an omen of death.
Oh.
As is pretty much every single one of these kinds of creatures. They're usually
I
some
was
kind of omen of death.
gonna say, like, we've had about a dozen of those.
Yeah. But the way in which the Barghest is an omen of death for you is if you see one clearly, you are to die very soon.
By the Barghest?
Potentially, they are quite violent when they get hold of you.
I mean, that's not so much predicting your death as causing it.
Hey, technically, you saw the ghost, you died. Well, the Barghest.
Yeah.
The Barghest.
Yeah, I mean, technically.
We're all
Checks
about
out, I
technicalities
guess.
in this world, Chris.
Yeah.
If you see one, but you don't see it very clearly, you will die later. As in months later, not just like in a couple of hours. I heard it the moment I said it.
I mean, my thought was more like, we're all gonna die later at some point.
Yeah, well, no, it's talking about it being like a few months down the line you will pass away.
Okay, so it's a
as a result.
near-ish future.
Yeah. There's
Okay.
also, apparently, they have a tendency to lay
For a second, I thought it was basically a memento mori, dog.
God.
You're gonna die. Oh, when? I don't know. At some point.
And apparently, they have a tendency to lay on the threshold of people who would die. So the thresholds of their homes. Again, if they lay on the threshold in front of your home, you are to die very, very soon.
Yeah, because you trip over the dog and then break your neck, probably.
Entirely possible.
You know? I'm still not sure about this future prediction thing.
Well, the thing is, they are violent creatures. They do hurt people. They do kill people. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's one of those things. In the past, seeing one was dangerous, so it became that kind of augur of death. There are more than one Barghest out there, but there's not a huge population of them.
Oh,
We are talking a very
there's
small
more
kind
than
of
one bar
population.
out there.
Well, that stands to reason there's going to be more ghosts.
Yeah.
But there's a weird thing about it in the myth, and so far I've never seen this because I would have thought it'd probably been picked up on camera by now. But apparently, if a noble person was to die, the Barghest would actually attend the funeral.
To eat the corpse?
No, apparently to pay respects of some kind. It's just some odd thing about them that apparently they respected nobility to the point where they would actively go and participate within the funeral. But, you know...
Is that why so many people wanted to see the Queen's funeral?
I know, I was just about to say that. I didn't see one at the Queen's funeral. I didn't see one, like, walking down the mall.
Maybe there were 3 of them in a trench coat.
Maybe they were translucent. You couldn't see them.
Maybe.
Maybe they were escorting it to hell. No.
Oh. Gotta get political.
Oh, we know what's going on recently. Yeah. But as a result, they kind of have this role in mythology and in the past of being omen of death, creature of
Yeah.
disaster. You see one, you die.
Title of my autobiography.
Omen of death, creature of disaster.
Yes.
That's your memoirs. It's actually quite good. Good in title. I like that.
It is. I couldn't back it up, but the title is great.
Hey, as long as it gets them to buy your memoirs.
Exactly.
The little tip for anyone who's trying to escape a Barghest, though, is that they are actually unable to cross rivers. So if you are actually being pursued by one, and you can get into and across a river, they are unable to pursue you across open water.
That's can they use bridges, or is it just
I assume they can use bridges.
that they can't cross? Okay. Yeah. I was just wondering if they just can't swim more.
Yeah.
There's something magical about rivers.
No. It seems it's a lot with these kind of mythical creatures. They tend to, running water seems to disrupt something.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of common.
Yeah.
As a kind of escape route.
I mean, I've used it quite a few times in the past, and who knows, maybe it comes up later. But
yeah.
This is a
ooh, foreshadowing.
But this is a creature that is kind of based in northern England, so that kind of Yorkshire, that kind of area, rather than it being the Black Shuck, which is in the south. So they are relatives in a way. The Black Shuck and the Barghest, they kind of separate between the country. And there's a few more kind of these, as I call them, like mythical dogs. But they kind of like dot themselves around the country. But they are distinct creatures in their own right. So a couple of the stories that follow around the Barghest give you an idea of what they're like as creatures themselves. So there is a legend of Troller's Gill, which is some location somewhere in the UK, where a man went to confront a Barghest, summoning it in an act of ritual magic to banish it again in some way. Well,
it summons it to banish it.
Apparently, I think when they say summon it, they mean as in like summon it to this location so it can be banished.
I see.
That kind of thing. But apparently,
I'm not an expert summoner. Sorry.
Apparently, it didn't go so well because the next morning they found him with what is weirdly described as inhuman marks across his breast. Yep. So I'm going to guess that it didn't go well.
It's a mauled by dog, basically.
Yeah, basically. But again, big dog.
Yeah. It's a weird way to describe that, though.
Yeah, well, this is a very, very old story. But there is also the story of the Barghest, unlike the Black Shuck, being willing to actually enter towns because it has been known in the past to hunt lone travellers in York itself, in the city of York. Ooh. So it will go down the side streets. It will hide in amongst all of these kinds of areas where it's hard to see and it's very tight and you can't escape it very well. And it will actively hunt people down to kill.
Okay.
So this is what I mean when I say it is a dangerous one. It is a violent creature. And I can only assume that the only reason we haven't really heard much about it going into northern cities and towns and actually hurting people nowadays is the prevalence of lights all over the place, because it's hard to see it. But if you light up an area, you're going to see a big black dog.
Probably, yes.
Yeah. And that's why we know that it can't go completely invisible, but it just becomes hard to see.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
But one of the interesting things about it is it's also connected to that wonderful place of Whitby. So if you remember, we talked about the Whitby worm a while ago.
Yes.
Yeah. And, Whitby is also what inspired Bram Stoker's Dracula. There is some talk about the Barghest being the kind of wolf inspiration for what Dracula could change into. There's lots and lots of different things. But it's a dangerous creature. And at one point, luckily this does not appear to be the truth, at one point in the myth, it was believed that the Barghest was actually a shapeshifter. It could change in shape from everything to like massive, huge creature right down to a tiny little bunny rabbit. We know it can't do this.
That's good.
We're well aware
That's
it can't
very
do this.
comforting.
And yeah, it is very comforting, especially when I've had to come into contact with these creatures before. Knowing that I'm not going to get absolutely mauled by a bunny rabbit that suddenly quadruples in size and destroys me.
That'd be slightly hilarious, though.
But again, I think that's mostly been people's way of trying to explain why it suddenly disappears, rather than it being anything else.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
well,
that makes sense.
if it suddenly becomes a little rabbit and you see a rabbit running off, that's the only reason. It can't be anything else. Yeah, so that's kind of the Barghest. It is quite a dangerous creature. Would you like to know about how I interacted with one?
No, I'm good.
All right then. Thank you very much for listening.
Yeah. Well, you'll find the Discord link in the description. I think we've done this joke before, but I couldn't help myself.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Oh no.
Anyway, tell me all about it.
So
in excruciating detail, please.
Well, let's get into it. So with the Barghest, when I actually interacted with it, I wasn't even on duty.
Okay. Not off to a great start.
Yeah, I wasn't even on duty. I actually was just doing a training course. I was in, the north of England, and I was heading back to my home, driving down, and it was middle of the night, probably about 11 o'clock. I can't even really remember what training course it was. It was one of those stupid, pointless ones. I wasn't like armed. I didn't really have any of my. I had a little bit of my equipment, like I had a few things, stuff you carry normally, but I wasn't like tooled up with any kind of like defensive weaponry or anything along those lines. Especially seeing as I was driving through, England. It's not a good idea to be armed in England.
Yeah. I mean, seeing all the things you could encounter on the way, maybe it would be a good idea.
Yeah, maybe I'll get something installed in the car. Just for safety's sake.
Just a little machine gun turret.
Automated AI. No. No, it was shoot me. While it's learning what a threat is.
Yes.
No, I just stopped off at like one of those like proper small service stations. It was single carriage roads, so like going through country areas, and I literally needed to stop off and get something to drink and something to eat because I was absolutely shattered. You know what the training courses are like with the CCI. When it's one of the boring ones, it's always going to like start at like 6 o'clock in the morning and finish at like 8 o'clock at night, and then you got like 3 hours of drive. Yeah, it's just never fun.
Yeah, it's a pain.
Yeah. So as I was kind of driving back, I pulled up into a service station in an undisclosed location, because I'm not telling you where it is, because I'm not sending you anywhere near this thing.
Oh no.
And while I was there, popped in, fueled up the car, got something to eat, got a drink, and just went and stood outside for a little bit, because it was one of those kind of areas where it's just lovely. There's no light pollution. You can see in the sky and absolutely everything. And, I just thought I'd have me sandwich, have me drink, watch it, look up a little bit, kind of let the cool air wake me up a bit. And
how romantic. What could possibly go wrong?
That's how my romance usually goes, with myself. Interpret that as you will. But so I was just taking a bit of a walk around this area. I didn't want to go too far in, but off like the path, because I didn't want to lose the car and I didn't want to lose my location, and it was dark and all that kind of stuff. But I went probably about 100 meters or so away from the main building, just walking in, having a look into kind of the valleys and all that kind of stuff. And as a CCI agent yourself, Warden, sometimes you get that feeling you're being watched.
Oh yeah, I'm very familiar.
Now, most of the time, I don't know about you, but I pretty much usually know that I'm being watched pretty much by something all the time, and it doesn't tend to bother me. But there are just there's that instinct that kicks in, and you're just gonna get like the hairs on the back of your neck kind of standing up a little bit, and you just go, yeah, something's caught my scent, and I don't like it.
It's the I think I'm being I think I will be dinner mode.
Yeah. So I started very subtly, looking around the place, seeing if I can find anything, because I've been hunted in some way by quite a few different creatures. Some of them we've spoken about, and some of them, we haven't even got there yet. But, just doing a bit of a 360, look around, let the instincts kick in. And to be fair, it was very hard to see, but I just caught a tiny little glint of like a red eye. And it was gone for a second. Like, I just saw it for a second.
All of the fur.
Gone. Get lost. And at that moment, I kind of very carefully started looking around and carried on. Got my phone out, held it up to my face, used the camera facing back towards me to observe that area behind me. And I can honestly tell you, while watching, I could have sworn I saw nothing. I was just going, something's missing here, something's not right. And just as I was about to put the phone down again, I just got that glint of a red eye and a tiny bit of definition of a shape. And I thought, I can't tell what this is. Normally, if it's hiding but still watching you and stalking you, it's not good. It's not waiting to give you, like a positive experience.
Well, it wasn't very visible, so that means you're not going to die soon. Apparently, maybe.
Yeah, maybe in a few months. Who's hoping? No, sorry. The listeners of this podcast are hoping.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we're in that point. So I thought, I was racking through my brain, and like we said earlier, you tend to a lot of these kind of creatures, they don't want to cross rivers, they don't want to cross running water. So I thought about it, and there was a river probably about 750 meters away.
Okay.
That's decent distance.
Quite a bit when you're being hunted for.
Yeah. But I was hoping that while I was being hunted, I wasn't being like actively chased. I was hoping I was being stalked. So, I start kind of moving towards that way. I did think about going back to my car, a little bit like I did with the Black Shuck, but I didn't think I was going to make it back to the car easily.
Was your car further away than the river?
No.
Then I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, I suspected...
Cow sounds like a safer option, honestly.
I suspected what kind of creature it could be, this kind of big, scary thing. And, well, it was not long after I'd actually...
thought it was a Cargeist.
Get lost. No, it wasn't long after I dealt with the Black Shuck. And if you remember from the Black Shuck episode, the car wasn't really that safe.
I mean, sure, but
they got in. They were very close to getting in that car if I wasn't armed. And like I said, I didn't have any weapons, and I also didn't want to take this to like a service station and bring it in front of other people. It's that kind of thing. So I just started kind of moving my way towards what I knew was the river, and just trying to skirt the building enough that I was close enough to it that it looked natural, but far enough away that I wasn't going to get other people involved in this. And you know what? I was moving through, and I got a good 500 meters over there. And as I was moving along, fucking cars tonight. As I was kind of walking down there, I got, as I say, about 250 meters away, and I don't know what I did. I have no idea what I did to tip off the creature. but all of a sudden I heard kind of like a bit of a growling, shrieking kind of noise coming from behind me.
It's never good to hear those.
No. And after kind of hearing that, the sound of kind of, being chased. Now, I am no long distance runner.
Yeah.
And I'm also no sprinter. But as we
Basically, you can barely walk.
sometimes. But as we have discussed a few times in the world of the CCI, you learn you can really make some moves when you feel in danger.
Oh, yes. Adrenaline is a wonderful thing.
Oh, yes. I absolutely bucked it. I was running as fast as I could at this point. Over rough ground, I might add. It wasn't like a lovely track. It was kind of going over rough ground. And again, luckily, my instincts kicked in. Because there was one point when I was kind of running straight for a few meters. And I just thought I'm going to kind of like zig to one side, and as I kind of ran just a little bit off to one side, an absolutely massive dog creature thing just kind of like landed a little bit off to my left hand side.
Oh,
about where I was if I hadn't have moved. Hey, and guess what? I learned I could run even faster. I just
propelled by the fear shits.
Hey, you know what? If it works, it works. But yeah, I just kind of I found some extra speed and I just ran, hearing like growling and snarling very close to me, and I just managed to get into the water before it had another chance to kind of jump at me. And so what I did, rather than crossing the water, I went and stood in the middle of this river where it came up to about my waist height.
Okay.
So at this point, it's probably about 11:30 at night, absolutely freezing because it was winter, and I'm stood in this river up to my waist. And honestly, on the kind of like riverbank, I'm looking at this creature and it's staring down at me. Wow, they are something else. I will give you this. Like it's immensely powerful. You can see it. It's probably about the same size as I am in terms of height, from floor to shoulder. It's just huge.
It's more of a horse than a dog.
Something like that. It's so intimidating, so scary to look at. And it was staring me down. And luckily, it only saw me as dinner rather than, some kind of grudge or something. But I stayed in this river for a good 5 minutes while it just watched me, moved up and down the riverbank, hoping I would obviously come back onto the side of the river in some way, or maybe cross or anything. I will say I was getting absolutely frigid cold. I was not very well for a few days after this. Yeah. But eventually...
Doesn't sound fun.
Yeah, well, eventually it did kind of just saunter away and disappear off. And I stayed in that river for about another 5 minutes afterwards, because I wasn't falling for it. Because I did see red eyes for about a minute or so, tracing along in the darkness. But as it disappeared into the trees, I actively saw it not just blend in, but I actively saw it kind of get more and more kind of translucent, harder to see as it went in. It was just those red eyes that got me. But honestly, I will never forget those teeth. They are huge. They are imposing, and I definitely do not want to end up in between.
Yeah.
But after about 5 minutes, I just kind of went, okay then. If I stay in this river any longer, I am going to freeze to death. So At this point, I think it's probably time to go and hope that it's still not pursuing me. And luckily, as I say, it wasn't pursuing me any further. I managed to get back to the service station. Everyone kind of looked at me a little bit weirdly because my jeans were just soaking. And I kind of walked out of the darkness, got in my car, and just started driving away, turning the seat warmers on.
Just a normal Tuesday night.
Well, for a warden of the CCI, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was my kind of encounter with the Barghest.
Okay, yeah, it sounds terrifying.
Yeah.
What do we do anything about this? I mean, you said they also come into towns and cities. That sounds kind of dangerous.
Well, we do try and
but
drive
also
them.
kind of hard to control.
Yeah. Well, we do try and drive them off because they are physical creatures. Yes, they can go translucent, but it's a camouflage kind of thing. It's not a, they go between some different realm and they're not really there. We have shot at them before.
Does it work?
It certainly makes them run. But it's also where we've got we've also got some like DNA evidence and things like that about them because they bleed as well.
Oh.
We don't like to do this, and I know it's not something that's been done for a very long time. It was a very, very old warden from a long time ago. You're talking like early 19th century. Is it 19th century? 1900s. That kind of time.
Yeah.
So we are talking like someone who is.
I was born in the 1900s.
So was I. But I'm talking like turn of the 1800s to 1900s kind of time. And they shot at them, and we got blood and we got DNA evidence and that kind of thing over time. We managed to preserve the blood, so that when proper testing came in, we were able to test it. Which is why we know they're real creatures, not like the weirdly ghostly, ethereal kind of things that we sometimes deal with. But we don't trap them and contain them anywhere. But we do try to kind of push them away from civilization to a certain degree. And we have been known to drop feed, food and things like that, meat for them in areas that we know that they're active to satiate them in some way.
I see. Just so they don't go feed on humans, I guess.
Yeah, basically.
Makes sense.
But yeah, they're incredibly interesting creatures, and I would love one as a pet. But
I think I'm good on that.
Wimp.
I'm more of a cat person.
Coward.
Yes.
Yeah. But anyway. Where do you think, Chris, where our listeners could go and find more cat person cowards?
Well, if you're looking for cowards, do I have the Discord for you? If you click on the link in the episode description, you will find the blinkandyoullmythit Discord server, where you can join cowards from all over the world in discussing our show, discussing episodes we have done, discussing episodes you want us to do, because between Jack and I, we have been doing this a long time, and there's a lot of things we've seen, and chances are we can tell you something about whatever you want us to tell you about. You can just hang out with other cowards and be cowardly together, and yeah. And you're surely too cowardly. You're surely too much of a coward to do anything else, but if you can find the courage, I know, is there anything else they could do, Jack?
Well, if they could find the courage to tell the world that they really enjoy our show, what they should be doing is they should be going and listening to more episodes. They should be going back and listening to the scary ones, the funny ones, the specials, absolutely everything, which you can find on your podcasting app of choice.
Yes.
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, where you will find a video version of this podcast.
The place where you probably have found us already.
Exactly the same place you've already found us. You never know. But either way, there's lots and lots and lots of different things you can go and do. And like I say, if you like a video version, if you want some really cool visuals, Chris put a lot of effort into making the waveform work. It was very funny to listen to him absolutely losing it.
There may or may not be actual effort involved.
There may or may not be. But either way, there is a wonderful backlog of creatures for you to learn about and go with. You can choose whichever one you want to. There's no order in which you must listen to them. You might just miss a couple of jokes here and there, but then you'll go through the whole catalogue yourself and you'll go, oh, I know what that joke means now, and that was funny, because that's how funny
Except
jokes
episode
work.
27.
Oh yeah, episode 27.
That's the one you have to listen first.
Yeah, you've got to listen to 27 first. What was 27 again? Can't remember.
I have no idea.
Neither do I. But at the same time, what else should they be doing, Chris, while they're doing that? What's a great thing for them to do?
Well, the greatest thing of them all is sharing, of course. You should share us with everyone you know, everyone you don't know, everyone you want to know.
Yeah.
If you have a crush, just show them our podcast and they'll probably fall in love with you and marry you and have 15 beautiful children with you and start an entire new bloodline that will rule the solar system in 500 years.
Or, something else.
Sharing is in your best interest and in the best interests of all future human civilizations.
Exactly.
And in the interest of the future human emperor.
Yeah.
And,
And we are the key to that.
Exactly. Yeah, so go on, share as much as you can.
Share, like, follow,
rate us.
Rate. Yeah.
Follow. Everything.
Everything that you are required to do by law, because it is law. But
it is.
Apart from that, then, unless there's anything else to say, I think that's everything. So thank you very much for listening, everyone, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.